Bro?
Yes, sir.
Cool. My name is Michael Cowell. I work here in Baton Rouge at a TV station. Welcome. Glad to get to talk to you. Kind of take us through your process of identifying LSU and so many people had you as a potential, good NFL draft pick. What made you say, no, I want another experience. I want a different experience and one more year of college football, and then why ultimately LSU?
Yeah, going through the 2019 season, it was in the back of my mind of either enter into the draft or go into the portal. So after the season, I had to talk with my family, and we felt that the best decision was to enter the portal. And going into the portal, I never thought LSU, one of the main schools, especially winning the championship, would come calling. But when they did, I did a deeper dive into the depth chart and the coaches, started talking to them and just seeing the needs that they needed. And I felt that it was going to be one of the best fits for me.
Hey, Jabril, this is Shea Dixon. I work here in town as well, except on the internet. I was curious what you thought going in. Coach O's praised you a bunch in recent weeks. He said at one point you were the best defensive player on the field. I know you've obviously come from big-time football and winning national championships. What was your mindset in terms of wondering, how am I going to transition to the SEC and, let alone your head coach saying that kind of stuff before a game even is played?
Right. I just felt I had to prove myself. Coming from a smaller school and then going into the SEC, it's a different ball game. There are going to be a lot of doubters, a lot of people saying he's not ready, and just going in each day, just trying to be the best that I can, and that's starting in practice. And the coaching staff and the players, they've helped me a lot and helped me progress and become the best athlete I can be.
Hey, Jabril, this is Josh Sibley with Louisiana Gridiron Football. Just to piggyback on what Shea said, Coach O has heaped a lot of praise on you as being a very intelligent player. Also coming in, have you also learned anything from your fellow athletes, and have you helped them out in any way as well?
Yeah, there's been a lot of teaching and learning. Most importantly, it's about the details now, since I'm a veteran. So just focusing on the details will help me in getting faster to my gap or just covering better. But a lot of the guys, Damone and Jacoby and Micah, those are a lot of guys that I talk to, and they've helped me along the way through this process.
Hey, Jabril, my name's Brooks Gavina at The Advocate newspaper here in town. Ed Ogeron has talked about you in a way that, he's like, man, he's not really a talker. Like, he's a doer. I don't even think he even says hello, coach, sometimes. I mean, what is your approach? I mean, it seems like you're more action-based. How do you do that through practice, just earning respect among people on the defense and on the team?
Right. Usually I'm more of a doer than a sayer, but coming in, I knew there were already leaders on the team, so I just wanted to take the back seat and listen to them and just focus on trying to win a starting position. So just working hard each day and showing people that I can do it and not always talking as much.
Hey, Jabril, this is Glenn West with LSU Sports Illustrated. You mentioned Damone a little earlier. I guess kind of how have you been able to get to know him? He's, obviously a very highly touted guy this year as well at that linebacker spot. Just kind of what's y'all's relationship like?
Yeah, it's a great relationship. He's one of the first guys that I talked to just during the whole thing. Me and him, we click along just well on the field, and we have kind of the same personality. So the chemistry on the field and outside is very tight between us.
Hey, Jabril, Nick Cousin from KVR in Fargo. Good to see you again. Question for you, what did you learn from NDSU that's translated the most to LSU?
Yeah, the work ethic, the getting better 1% each day. That's something that I took from NDSU and brought it here. Hard work, if you're a hard worker, it's going to go a long way, and that's helped me as I came to LSU to help prove myself.
Hey,
Hey, Jabril, this is Garland Gill. I work at Fox 8 in New Orleans. What did Bo Pelini and Coach Orgeron sell you on to get you to Baton Rouge? Did they tell you could better your draft stock, you had no shot at a national championship? What was told to you in the recruiting process?
Yeah, during the process, I seen that they had 3 linebackers go to the draft. So right there off the bat, it was an eye-opening thing for me to see that I could come in and compete and try to win a starting spot. So that right there is one of the main reasons. And also just knowing Coach Bo Pelini and his scheme of things and the way he coaches was also a reason to come to LSU.
Yeah, Amos Morale from WWL Radio in New Orleans. Coach has said that, you signed up and joined the team without even visiting campus. What made you feel so confident to do that without even coming in, visiting Baton Rouge or taking a look?
Right, it was hard, but just talking to the coaches and the players, trying to see if there's a difference between Ndsu and here and the similarities between it, because I'm used to the family atmosphere type of vibe, and LSU really brought that to me when I was talking to them and explaining, and a lot of the players and coaches were explaining to me how it's very tight-knit and once a Tiger, always a Tiger type. So just having that leap of faith and choosing this and then coming here and really seeing it really helped.
Hey, Jabril. How would you describe your game to those of us that haven't seen you, and what would you like to improve upon in your final year?
Right. I describe my game as finesse. I like to play out in the open, cover, use my speed to my advantage and my length. But in the improvement standpoint of it, I think I can improve on playing in the box more, showing that I can run through the A gap or B gap and take on blocks and shed them, and just show the strength and physicality that the SEC brings.
Hey, Jabril, Jacques Ndsu here from WAFB-TV in Baton Rouge. Good to be talking to you. Coach Orgeron is very excited about this 4-3 defense. He's been talking about going to 4-3 for a while. From what we hear, guys up front are getting pressure on the quarterback and everything. Just tell us what should we expect from this 4-3 defense, from the defensive linemen and from the linebackers?
Yeah, from this 4-3, it's a great scheme, especially with the play style and the athletes that we have. You can expect a lot of blitzing, a lot of moving around, a lot of different coverages to confuse the offenses. I know Coach Bo, he loves to bring pressure, and that's what we're trying to do this year is cause havoc to offenses.
Hey, Wilson Alexander from The Advocate. Kind of piggybacking off of that, how does that compare to what you guys did at North Dakota State? What sort of things have you had to learn and pick up and adjust to now that you're playing in this 4-3?
Yeah, it was a lot similar. At NDSU, we also played a 4-3, and pressure was one of our main friends that we loved to bring, Coach Ndsu. He was heavy on defense, and just bringing the pressure and blitz is something that both these squads very much enforce.
Hey, Jabril, this is Shea Dixon again. I was curious if you said you like to play in space. Have you gotten a chance to cover Eric Gilbert yet? And you're an older guy. What's your impression of him as a kid who's an 18-year-old?
Yeah, I've lined up in the slot against him a couple times. He's a big target, fast as well. Just my impression first, right off the bat, is he has kind of a Megatron type of build. And just seeing him, you think he's going to try to run you over, but he also has the moves to also juke you and shake you on the route. So just seeing him, the ceiling for him is so high. If he continues to get better, he could be the best tight end to ever play college football. It's only up to him and his hard work. But Eric Gilbert, he's going to be a special one.
So we'll wrap up with Nick, Brooks, and Brody. So 3 more questions, and then we'll be done.
Hey, Jabril, what's been the biggest challenge for you adjusting from the FCS to the FBS level?
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge would be just to slow down and just not really have to have a whole bunch on my shoulders. 'Cause I know at the FCS level, I would always have to worry about them trying to double me or trying to go the opposite way of where I'm covering. But coming here, I know that there's a lot of athletes on the field, and they're not just going to pick on one person, so you got to win your one-on-one. So that'd be the biggest challenge that I have to just get used to.
I mean, you mentioned your game, talking about your speed and being, and you covered Eric Gilbert, which I'm sure is you've given him his praise. I mean, what about this defense? It seems like the expectation is for you to cover more as a linebacker than maybe we've seen. I know you weren't on the defense last year, but how important is your role in covering in pass coverage, and what kind of receivers are you expected to look at?
Yeah, most of the time we're usually on the running backs or tight ends, but whenever it's 5 out wide, then we'll be on the slot. And the role is pretty big. We'll have help over the top sometimes, but a lot of the times you're by yourself, and just the people that we see in practice, Terrace, Eric, Kayshawn, Coy, and all them, just seeing them in practice, knowing that you're going against the best, it'll help us prepare for the game time.
Obviously, you had Bernie Miller from The Athletic, obviously you had the opportunity to, go to the NFL after last year, and I considered that. So when guys started opting out and whatnot in the last few weeks, did you consider that much?
Yeah, I never considered opting out. I know it's all in God's plan, and me coming here was a blessing as a whole. So opting out was never a decision for me. I just wanted to come here and just compete. If I would have opted out, I wouldn't have been able to get better at football. I'd have been taking the whole year off. So just staying and playing football is what I really wanted to do.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Jabril. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys.
I mean, obviously, Jamar Chase leaves and whatnot. I guess, this is going to be a bigger role for you, even more looks for you. I mean, do you have to have like a mental shift or a kind of difference in how you look at things now that you are the number one, top guy at LSU?
For me personally, it wasn't no mental shift. I mean, I've always been locked in even before he left. I mean, that's just the culture around here. We're always locked in, ready to go. So, I mean, I'm ready to take on whatever responsibility I got to take on, and I'm prepared.
Hey, Terrace, Michael Cobble at Channel 2 here in Baton Rouge. How excited are you to pick up the baton, this year and try to continue, what you guys were able to accomplish last year, and, your excitement to play with Miles and see what this offense can do?
I'm real excited. I'm looking forward to the season. It can't come fast enough. We're just taking it one day at a time, just fixing the things we need to fix, getting ready for Mississippi State. And that's all I can tell you.
How about your rapport with Miles?
Man, Miles has been great. Our chemistry with me and him and the receivers, it's been great. We've been clicking in practice. I'm really looking forward to see how well we're going to click in the game.
Hey, Terrace, I know it's been, now over, a week and a half since, Jamar left and whatnot. I mean, have you seen yourself kind of taking on more of a leadership role, not just, I guess, with the receivers, but also with the offense as a whole, considering you're, one of the top guys now returning from last year's team?
Yeah, I look to be as one of the leaders on the team as a whole. I mean, not just in the receiver room. I mean, because it goes way beyond that because it's a team sport. So, I mean, I try my best. I'm around here. I try my best to keep my head high, and set example for the younger guys, that just came in, and just try to be the best I can be for the team.
Hey, Terrace. As close as you and Jamar and Jets and guys that have now gone on to the next level were, what has been kind of their messages to you, particularly, I guess, Jamar being the most recent, but just as you become that leader for this team, some of the departed leaders, what have you heard from them in terms of encouragement or advice or anything along the way?
I mean, we always stay tight. One thing about us, we're all self-motivated, so we don't really just sit around and just just motivate each other all day because we already know, man, when it's time to play, when it's time to handle our business, we're going to go out there and do that. So, I mean, that's just part of just being a professional or being on track of being a professional. You just got to be self-motivated and be able to go out there and have your own drive.
Hey, Terrace, I mean, last year's offense was so powerful with with wide receivers. What has been kind of your experience from, I know spring football didn't last the whole time, but tell us about this new offense, how you feel familiar with it. I mean, how much of it do you see the same in your roles on wide receivers working with Scott Linehan, with Steve Ensminger? I mean, tell us a little bit about how this year's offense kind of runs with you guys.
This year's offense is just as fun as last year's offense. I mean, obviously, Scott Linehan, he's a very experienced guy. So he came in, and he's going to get us right. He's been getting us right. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to showing the world, I mean, what else we can do.
Hey, Terrace, this is Josh Sibley with Louisiana Grand Football. It seems like a lot of people are forgetting last season. You and Jamar were kind of neck and neck, and a lot of people are overlooking you. Do you feel like you're being overlooked?
I mean, me personally, I could say yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, I just let my plan do the talking. I mean, once I get to the season, once I get out there on the field, I know that once I do my best, then it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good show. So, I mean, I'm not really worried about all of the politics and all of the he say, she say. I just go out there and ball and do what's best for the team.
Yeah, kind of following up on that, you got off to a really fast start last season before the injury. Are you looking to have that same kind of start, and is that a big priority for you?
Yeah, I mean, my thing this year is taking it one game at a time, going out there, just make sure I do the little things right first, and then let the big things come to me. So, I mean, I'm just going to go out there, take it one game at a time, and whatever happens, happens.
Hey, Terrace, Scott Ravelay from The Advocate. Coach Orgeron mentioned this earlier this week, but do you feel like people are wondering a little bit with all the personnel turnover, the commitment is still there to a very pass-intensive offense? And how do you guys have you guys tried to break some of the tendencies and maybe things that other defenses are trying to prepare for this offseason?
I mean, that's just the DNA of his offense. You know what we're going to do, but at the end of the day, you know what we're going to do, but are you going to stop it? So, I mean, we maybe have some tweaks or whatever, but we're going to keep being LSU, keep doing what we do, and nobody's going to be able to stop us.
Hey, Terrace, this is Shea Dixon with 24/7 Sports. You came in a 5-star, and you've seen other guys come in like that. What have been your early impressions of Eric Gilbert, being a freshman, 18-year-old tight end who's moved into a starting role?
I can say his early impression is his eye candy. I mean, he 6'5", 6'6", 2. Just I don't know how many pounds he weighs. I don't want to know, but he's a freak of nature, and I'm very excited to see what he can do on the field and during the season.
Hey, Terrace, Jacques Dusay from WAFB here in Baton Rouge. Taking on the number one cornerback each week from the opposing team, have you kind of thought about what kind of challenge that is? Obviously, you've been on the field, you've seen what the other number one corners look like. Have you talked to Jamar about that, and how eager are you for that challenge each and every week?
Like I said, man, I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm not really thinking about who's going to be in front of me. Once I get in the game, my mindset is to kill whoever's in front of me. So, I mean, I'm just taking it one day at a time, and whenever it gets there, whoever's in front of me is going to have to handle me.
Hey, Terrace, we've heard that Gracie Mcmath is poised to become now the number 2 wide receiver. We haven't really seen much from him in his career, or seen him at preseason practice this year. How would you describe what he's brought to the field, and what are your expectations of him this season?
Gracie brings a lot to the table. He got size, speed, great hands. He can get open. So, I mean, I'm just very excited to see what he has in store for this season also. and I can't wait to see all the success come his way.
Terrace, you mentioned those receivers and also Gilbert. I mean, we haven't seen him in person, but he kind of looks like eye candy on the videos we get to see. But I mean, what seemed to make you guys so dangerous last year was that there were so many options for you guys that the secondary sometimes left one-on-ones available on the outside or maybe on the inside for Jefferson and others. How much can you as a group give each other those opportunities? Do you feel like that same power is there?
I feel like we can go out there and do the same thing we did last year, strictly because of, we're LSU. We're always stacked. It's next man up. The person who's coming behind the person who's in the last position is going to be just as good. So, that's just our DNA. I feel like our receiver group, all our options this year are going to be just as good as the ones last year.
So we have time for two more. We'll go Brody and then Jared.
And obviously you did have a great season last year, but as you went into this off season or this summer or anything, were there certain focuses or areas you were like, all right, this is what I need to sharpen or improve at?
One thing I know that I needed to improve at was blocking. So we've been doing individual drills in the off season. So that's one main thing that I try to focus and lock in on when I'm doing drills or in practice. I'm just want to do all of the small things right as much as I can, and that's about it.
Terrace, for a guy that is always as competitive and hungry as you are, and you've had stretches where you have been sidelined by injury and have that eagerness to get back, what was this offseason like with some of the COVID uncertainty as people talked, are we going to play, are we not going to play, and how excited are you now to know we're 2 weeks away from you guys being back in Tiger Stadium?
This offseason was obviously weird, for everybody. So, one thing I did to adjust was just make sure I was just taking care of my body, make sure I was doing things, just being conservative about everything that I do, just to stay healthy. I've been in the training room every day, making sure my knees and feet and everything else is right, so I'll be ready to go for the season.
Thank you for your time, Terrace. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Liam, obviously, your decision to come to LSU, and what have been your impressions of the team so far?
Coming to LSU was really kind of a no-brainer for me. I wanted to try to get to the highest level of college football, and that's really what it is here. So far it's been great. The guys, both like my teammates and the coaching staff, have really done a great job. Not only making me feel welcome here in the team, but catching me up to speed, so I'm ready to go and ready to compete right away. So.
Hey, Liam, Ndsu from WAFB here in Baton Rouge. Good to be talking with you. Just what are your impressions so far of going up against SEC defensive linemen? Is it a big jump? Did it take a little while to get adjusted to, or do you feel like you're going to fit right in?
Obviously it's a change from the Ivy League. Guys across the board are, bigger, stronger, faster for the most part. But I'm really just trying to take it one day at a time. Attack every day in practice out here on the field. I think I've been getting better, every day, and that's really what I'm just trying to focus on. Everyday improvement. So ultimately we'll be ready to go September 26th. So.
Hey, Liam, this is Josh Sibley with Louisiana Gridiron Football. Coach O says you've been out there great, making all the calls. Is there anything that you have learned from your teammates, and is there anything that you maybe brought to the table that they haven't seen as well?
I've learned a ton since I came down here, especially from Coach Craig. I've spent a lot of time meeting with him, just really getting caught up to speed on the offense, and even continuing to do so now. I'm still trying to meet with him as much as possible and get caught up to speed so that we'll be ready to go and hit the ground running. So.
Hey, Liam, this is Glenn West with LSU Sports Illustrated. I was just curious, since you've gotten on campus and practice and everything, I mean, just what has been, I guess, the biggest adjustment for you, obviously coming from Harvard and now playing some big-time SEC football?
Yeah, just like you said, coming into the SEC is an adjustment from the Ivy League. So just across the board, really everything there. I'm just trying to do everything I can to be as best prepared day in, day out, to where I'm doing the best that I can to improve, not only myself but us as an offensive line and as an offense. So that's really what it is. So.
Hey, Liam, Wilson Alexander from The Advocate. Hope you're doing well. If I'm not mistaken, you had to quarantine along with a lot of the rest of the offensive linemen a few weeks ago. That's true. Just what was it like going through that experience, not being able to practice for a while, and what was the conditions like of quarantine?
Yeah, so that was tough. Obviously that's who knows what's going to happen. That's just what it's like this year. Unprecedented challenges. And obviously it's unfortunate. We don't want to miss a week. I especially don't want to miss a week. I'm trying to, I'm new here. I'm really trying to get caught up. So I'll be ready to go for the year. But, just being able to adapt and persevere through circumstances that, that you obviously aren't ideal. But, luckily we came back since then and we're back at it. So.
Brooks Cabana from The Advocate. Good to talk to you for the first time here. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. You're from Boston. I read through your bio that you were a groundskeeper at Fenway Park. What was kind of your life before you came down to Baton Rouge?
Yeah. I was really a Boston kid. From a little bit outside of Boston, Massachusetts, going to Harvard. So coming down here for the first time, it's really a bit of a culture shock for me. But at this point, I'm pretty well adjusted to it. I'm happy to be here. I'm very excited to get this season going with, so we can start playing on Saturdays. So.
Hey, Liam, this is Garland Gillen at Fox 8 in New Orleans. Have you been primarily working with Miles Brennan at quarterback from the start? Have you been working with the first team since you got here? How fast did that come about that you were working with Miles?
Yeah, I've been working with Miles since basically the first day that we were in football school. Once we were able to get going as a team and get out on the field and get it going. So.
Hey, Liam, Brody Miller with The Athletic. Obviously you're coming in and you're also coming in at center of all positions where you're making the calls, all these things. What's just it been like, Jeff's learning to get to know all these other offensive linemen and trying to take like a leadership role there?
Yeah, it's been great, honestly. I'm lucky enough that the guys that we have in the offensive line room, they really did a good job of kind of accepting me and really making me feel like a part of the unit. I'm fortunate enough. I've been through a college football program at this point, so I have a pretty good understanding, I feel like, of a lot of the general concepts and whatnot that we kind of have in our offense here, which has made the transition a little easier. So.
Hey, Liam, Jared Roser from TigerDetails.com. Good to chat with you again now that you're down here. I was wondering your impressions of some of the other guys in that offensive line group, particularly other new starters like Rosenthal. Chasen had some experience a couple years ago and played a lot last year, but just how they're coming along. And you mentioned you guys kind of meshing together as an overall unit.
Yeah, those two guys look great, I think. Dare's really kind of a freak athletically. I'm really excited to see him playing on Saturdays. He's got a great work ethic too, and he's been impressive to watch so far. And same goes with Chasen. I think that we really have a lot of talent in the offensive line room, and kind of like you said, what we've been doing is just really trying to get in a rhythm and a groove together, being able to work in unison as a group of five, and we still got to attack every day. We got about a little more than 2 weeks before the first game, and And we really got to take advantage of every day that we have until then to really get going together as a cohesive unit.
Hey, Liam, this is Shea Dixon with 24/7 Sports. You've talked about making the transition and kind of been eager to prove yourself. I think that would be the case for a lot of the guys who are back on the team with kind of a national storyline that LSU lost all these guys from the national championship team and there might be a fall off. Do you sense from your teammates in the locker room that guys are playing kind of with a chip on their shoulder or looking to something to prove?
Yeah, I would say yes to that. One thing that we've kind of been talking about is, last season obviously was a historic season, a great season. Like you said, there's a lot of new guys stepping up, and we're our own team now, so we really have to turn the chapter and start writing our own story now, which is really why it's so important that we go out every day and don't waste any time. Take advantage of every single time that we're on the field, because there's new guys that are stepping up, and we have the guys that are capable of doing so, which is why we really just have to take advantage of all the time that we have. So.
Hey, Liam, this is Michael Cobble from Channel 2 here in Baton Rouge. No pressure, but the last transfer that LSU got turned out pretty good. Just what are your thoughts on, again, kind of coming in and continuing that trend? And then from the outside looking in about this offense, I don't know how much college football you followed, but, it was a pretty big difference last season from what LSU has been. How excited are you to be a part of, this offense and carrying that momentum forward?
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here. I can't stress it enough. I'm very thankful for the opportunity to kind of come down here and prove myself in the SEC and playing for a program like LSU with so much kind of tradition and even offensive line tradition. Where I'm just really trying to do everything I can every day to live up to the standard that's set. This offense this year, we obviously have a lot of doubters, but we got to take it one day at a time, like I've been saying, and really start making strides throughout practice so that we're ready when the time comes on September 26th. So.
I can just get a follow-up. The offense itself, though, was that a selling point? Were you really excited about, man, look at the transformation that this team has been able to accomplish?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I obviously watched everybody watched LSU last season. They were pretty much in every primetime game. So it's cool and exciting to get to be a part of this program. So.
Hey, Liam, Brooks again. Offensive line is one of those where groups there's just so much personality. Have any stories come up yet? Anytime they got a chance to show your personality to guys, anybody stick out to you so far?
I don't know about any specific stories or whatnot, but luckily being able to be on campus throughout the summer and really kind of getting to spend time with a lot of the guys, it's been great. And I think that we honestly have a good unit in the sense of we get along well. We're good friends and whatnot. So we really got to take that step on the field now to play together as a one unit strong. So.
Hey, Liam, Paul Boran from Cox Sports Television. I wanted to ask you, kind of piggybacking on Michael's question about the offense, how does this offense fit what you do? Maybe what was the biggest adjustment for you coming from the Harvard offense to this offense as far as blocking or whatever that's different for you?
So the biggest change for me has definitely just been going to center, because I never played center at Harvard, but when I signed here, I knew that was a possibility, and I was excited at the potential for that to happen. So for me, really transitioning to center is, I'm the one responsible for making the offensive line calls and whatnot, and working with Miles with protection checks and whatnot. So that's really kind of been the biggest adjustment for me in terms of on the field coming down here. So yeah. But.
And then we got two more questions. We'll go Wilson and then Jarrett.
You said how you're a Boston kid, and obviously Boston is much different from Louisiana in a lot of ways. you weren't really highly recruited out of high school. I mean, when you were, sort of at any point, like early in your college career, late in your high school career, did you envision yourself ending up at a place like LSU?
I don't know if I ever envisioned, after I first went to Harvard, I didn't know if there would even be the possibility as for like a transfer year. I always, even going to Harvard though, I had big goals for myself. I wanted to really maximize my potential on the football field, which luckily enough for me, it's ended up here in Baton Rouge. So,
kind of piggybacking on that a little bit, we talked a lot about the transition in terms of the football program, but it's a much different climate, culture, all of those things. What has it been like just to be in Baton Rouge? And obviously it's been a weird off season to arrive here, but what have been some kind of stories of you getting more of a sense of some of that outside of football stuff as well?
One thing to start, the weather was definitely an adjustment coming down here. Luckily at this point I'm pretty much used to it, but geez, some of those practices at the beginning and that humidity was really a different animal for me to kind of take on. But I'm lucky enough I've been able to kind of explore Baton Rouge a little bit at this point. It's great. Like the food is awesome down here. That's one thing. Definitely a lot different than what we get up in Boston. But I'm looking forward to going through the season and really feeling what it's like to play for LSU and be a part of this program in this place. So
awesome. Thank you, Lane. Appreciate it.
Thank you.